Yo, before I start, you know what's crazy? The fact that you're watching this video, right? But it was made from nothing. Just a bunch of trees, stone, water, grass, and somehow we have technology. Somehow we have a screen to look at with a bunch of pixels right in front of us now. It's crazy, man. Honestly, the world is actually it's amazing, man. But yeah. Today we're talking about the dangers of nostalgia and how it pretty much keeps you from moving forward. A lot of people like to think about the good old times, right? And whilst they serve their purpose, it can be dangerous to really get stuck in that loop of when life was quote unquote better. We often like to think of it as better because we might have had less responsibilities and all of that stuff, but was it really? I mean, you haven't experienced as much of life, so from a neutral, non-biased standpoint, it's not really better, is it? It's not really, because you haven't experienced as much of life, you haven't learned as much in life, you haven't gone through things, whether that's positive or negative. But again, we don't really live in a neutral state of mind now, do we? We're humans, we're gonna have emotions, because they're one of our great powers, man. They can make or break your life. It's a very important tool to have. But yeah, nostalgia is I mean, I get it, man, because who doesn't like it? You know, the grass seems to be greener, you had better vision, life might have been more simpler. You know, we haven't got like social media ruining everyone's minds and polluting everyone's minds with recycled content over and over. People were kinder to each other, people spent more times outdoors. Yeah, these are all very, very valid answers, man, and I get it, but it's not gonna create a better world in the future now, is it? And so, whilst it's very important to remember the past and honor it and pay homage to it, it's not something we should always lean on to, because what it's going to do is create a negative a negative mindset where you're going to be like, oh man, I just wish life was like that. And so you lose hope for the future in terms of what could be better. And even the times right now, as you're watching this video, you never know, you might even, 20 years down the line, if you manage to live long enough, you might even think, oh wow, these were the good old times as well, before we might have I don't know, self-serving robots or AI on another level where it just kind of, it's crazy, you know, like you're seeing AI girlfriends and stuff like that out now, so imagine then. Crazy times we're going to be up, what it seems like we're going to be coming to. So again, these might be the quote unquote simpler times, so you're always going to be living in that kind of state of nostalgia, always. And if you manage to live a healthy enough life, if you manage to live with a better mindset, better mental health, physical health, emotional health, those nostalgic feelings are going to be every day, because you're just going to love life and love living life every day. Your neurotransmitters are firing well, your digestive system is firing well, and maybe your thyroid is working well, your metabolism, and you're living life like how it used to be. And I think that's the state that people miss the most, because when they get older, they tend to obviously gravitate towards bad habits because they have the freedom of having that. Obviously, as a kid, you might not have had the luxury of having I don't know, binge eating, for example. But when you're an adult, no one tells you no. But when you live healthy enough, everything's operating well, you're living as close to that kind of childlike state as possible, where everything is functioning really well. So make sure to keep that in mind if you're trying to live a more fulfilling life, a more energetic life, something a lot of people struggle with nowadays. Tech is partly to blame for it. Again, it's not the ultimate reason. We just let the tool kind of control us rather than us controlling the tool. And that's why I really put an emphasis on balance, man, because it's a tool at the end of the day. As much of an important tool, and how much you can get lost into it, you don't want to stay in it. It's like the abyss. You can stare into it, it might stare back at you, but you don't want to live in it. Learn from it, utilize it in the best way possible, but just don't stay in it. But yeah, I want to say again, don't think I'm trying to tell you to just get rid of the old, obviously the feelings in the past and how good they were, because they can keep you going. They really can. They can honestly help you out, man, in terms of even thinking for a better state of mind of what could be, but just again in the future in a much better way, a more experienced you, experiencing the same emotions. I feel like a lot of times as well, nostalgia comes from a point where the feeling we have when we have it is more so to do with experiencing something for the first time, and that's what we miss the most. And if you want to think about it in a scientific way, obviously that's probably because your dopamine levels are operating correctly and your other like hormones are operating correctly, as well as just experiencing it for the first time. And that's why it's really good to try new things out, try new foods out, instead of getting artificial stimulation from whether it be porn, whether it be whatever, gaming maybe even, which yeah, I am playing a game, so it's kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Whatever the word is, you get what I'm saying? But it's crazy because, again, a lot of these different things, they do hold you back, man. And you're probably like, oh man, Ray, just talk about nostalgia, man. But these are factors that really intertwine with each other. They really do. And being in a nostalgic state of mind could be just you running away from your problems. But we don't really put an emphasis on this now, do we? We don't really like to talk about how running away from your problems and living in the past is quite a bad thing. And I feel like I made a video on this in the past. I'm not sure, but it sounds familiar. But it's really important. It's really important to know, man. Try not to run away from your problems. Try and handle them when they come like a champ, because that's who you are. You're on this planet and you've been chosen today by yourself, and your entire body, each cell in your body continues to function. So you have another chance. You have another chance at life. You have another chance to claim the day, seize the day, carpe diem, or however you're supposed to pronounce it. Don't be stuck in nostalgia. Don't be stuck in the past. Embrace it. Let it teach you. Get the good feelings, the euphoric feelings. But remember, they are not just feelings that exist in the past. They can exist in the future, and they will. You got this, man. Peace and blessings to you all, and I'll see you in the next one.